Welcome back to the Abundance Alchemist, your quiet space to remember who you are. Tonight, the evening settles around you like a soft shawl. Bamboo shadows flicker on the walls. Ordinary lamplight feels golden and close. We're not here to try or perform. There's nothing to gather up or prove. Some part of you has always known how to open the door for quiet wealth, and now, it's time to let that side of you breathe, slow and easy. Tonight we speak gently about welcoming quiet wealth through a bamboo-lit evening and gentle remembering, not as a lesson to learn, but as something your soul already carries. As if all along, inside your ordinary moments, something was growing strong and calm, even when you didn't see it. Even now, as you listen, you might notice the invisible threads of gentleness tying your life together in small, quiet ways. You don't have to look for anything. What if you've never truly been broken? What if your softness was always your power? What if the ache you sometimes feel has always been an invitation, not a wound to heal but a doorway to more? Breathe with that curiosity, slow, simple, as if your breath, too, wanders through a garden just out of sight. It's safe now. The world asks so much, rushing, chasing, endless becoming. But here, in this unmoving stillness, bamboo silhouettes and easy night air, something deep inside you remembers. Abundance is not earned through effort or noise. Wealth is not a performance. It is a homecoming, a remembering, a softness that waits patiently for you to unclench your hands and let go of how hard it's been. Each breath, a leaf fluttering in low wind. Each beat of your heart, a promise you were born with, never at risk of disappearing. Let this echo in the hush of evening. You don't need to know how to welcome wealth. There is a part of you that already knows the simplest, softest self beneath the busy surface. That self is listening, even now, felt in the warmth that settles behind your ribs, humming through your bones and your memory. You don't need to hold it. Even this is part of the remembering. The morning feels gentle here. There is a kind of softness in your hands that only appears when the sun is still slow and everything moves at the pace of quiet breath. As if the world itself wakes through your fingertips, curious but not in a rush to decide who you'll be today. This is the hour before much is asked of you, just the hush of the room and a slow exhale through the body that has carried you all this way. The kettle, waiting, steady on the stove. Your own reflection, drowsy and undone, caught in the kitchen window, almost a memory of yourself from a time before you learned to hurry. Sometimes making tea is not about the taste. It is ceremony without an audience, intention folded quietly into heat and water. Your body remembers the heaviness of nights undone and mornings that needed repair. But here, in the hush, you are not broken. You are gathering, let it soften here. There's meaning in the way you reach for the cup, ritual in the way your thumb traces the curve of the mug. You could let the ache of old stories curl up in the steam and drift. You could. What if stillness is an invitation that doesn't need to be earned? What if it is already tucked inside the waiting? Sometimes the water sings before it boils, trembling with the promise of warmth. Sometimes all you have to do is listen. Even if you drift, this still lands underneath the first rays. There's the quiet sound of water remembering it is alive. The small hum from the kettle, like a lullaby for grown-up aches you never had words for. You find yourself here, not through fixing, but by letting your hands move slow enough to feel the world loving you back. You don't need to hold it. This is not a morning to improve or a habit to perfect. There is a holy kind of pause between pouring and sipping. The air thickens with possibilities you were taught not to trust, but the cup sits whole and open. Your softness meets the light and neither asks for apology. Some aches are only here to remind you flow is your native language. Some mornings are gentle so you can remember how to receive. Even this is part of the remembering. Let each inhale feel like a yes, a small, hidden permission to have your own morning. If the sky is thick with cloud, let it be. If your heart is heavy, let the heat in your hands remind you, aliveness is never all or nothing. A single fingertip on cool ceramic, the brush of steam across your nose, the way your eyes resist the urge to scan ahead, staying home in this moment, as if nothing else is for you right now. It's safe now, sometimes, when you step into the cool hush before morning, the world is still undecided. The sky is a sleeve of soft gray, the air holding its breath, and you walk quiet to the waiting coupe. The feed in your hands is heavier on certain days, some mornings weighed down by old memory, others softened by a hope you can't name. The chickens gather in a hush that is their own, feathers fluffed against last night's chill, small bodies bright under the dust of sleep. There is no rush here. Provision happens slowly, with the sound of grain slipping between your fingers. The way each kernel meets straw disappears and is found again. There are eyes on you, watchful, alert, waiting without urgency. Their patience is familiar, honest. It mirrors a longing in you that doesn't always have language, the ache to be enough, the wish that every handful offered could reach some deeper emptiness, in them and in you. Let it soften here some mornings. You remember how it felt to be overlooked, little maybe, or just not noticed in the ordinary shuffle of need and want. There is an old ache in being the feeder, the one whose hands steady the bowl. Sometimes it's heavy, that giving. Sometimes it's quiet and easy, gentle as the warming day. Even now, as you pour out what you have, you notice that not every hunger can be measured, not every need named. You don't need to hold this. Feeding is a kind of listening. You learn to wait, to watch how the chickens move through the straw, sharing and squabbling, soft bodies reshuffling what was given. Not all the grain will be found right away. Not all of your quiet offerings land where you think they should. But provision is more than filling. Sometimes it is bearing witness to the slowness, the way sustenance settles, the way feathered patience is its own answer. The giving, repeated each day, remakes you in ways you can't quite see. Even this is part of the remembering. You find beauty in the simplicity, how the morning opens gently around you, how a rhythm is built out of the smallest acts. Each scoop, each silent affirmation that this is enough for now, loosens the grip of old scarcity. The world does not demand proof, only presence. Chickens do not count what spills, nor recall what was missed. They simply gather, peck, return. You, too, gather and return, letting the ritual soften your roughest edges. Let it echo. It is safe now to release the record-keeping, the need to know if you are worthy by each tiny portion given. The spirit of gentle provision is not measured by plenty, but by patience, a slow unfurling of trust, the generosity that expands from returning, again and again, to offer what you have. Even the smallest grace is a kind of abundance, feathered and breathing, waiting always for morning. There's a quiet ceremony in the way, a hand holds the broom in the gentle push and pull that repeats, almost like breathing, the way soft bristles make their way across stone, over packed earth, collecting what no longer belongs. Sometimes it feels as if the dust is not just what the wind left behind, but every ache that clung to the corners of your days, every story that settled heavy in your bones, waiting for someone, maybe you, maybe the wind, to carry it away. The sound of sweeping is steady, softer than rain on a window, steadier than your thoughts when they scatter at night. There's something about this motion, bristles against earth, wrist letting go, arm returning again, that invites the mind to slow, to cradle each grain that lifts, each memory that loosens. Maybe that's where the fear lives, in the thought that something precious will get swept away with the dust, that in lightening the load you might lose yourself. Or maybe it's the opposite, the old ache that you'll never loosen enough, that you'll always be left carrying what no one else can see. Let this echo, there's honesty in the rhythm, broom, earth, sky, the little dance of letting go. The ache, the desire, they show up here too. Part of you wanting every inch to feel clean, every speck of old pain to disappear. Another part, gentle, protective, resisting, gripping tight to what's gathered in the corners, believing it's safer to hold what's familiar, even when it's heavy. The yard waits, unhurried, the soil underneath bearing witness as always. It has held far more than you could ever name. You don't need to hold it all. What if the dust was never a mistake? What if even the tiniest pebble, the crumbled leaf, the bit of thread in the dirt, had a reason to be here, collecting, reminding, showing you what you once needed to survive? Maybe the act of sweeping isn't about erasing, but about honoring each thing for its time, softly thanking it as it leaves. The broom becomes a bridge. You are not erasing yourself. Even if you drift, this still lands. With every sweep, a kind of release hangs in the air, a breath the yard has been waiting to take. Maybe you notice the way dust rises, catches in a sunbeam, lingers for a moment before settling again. This is how some stories go. They ask to be held, noticed, danced with before they're ready to settle or move on. Some aches need to be seen before they leave. To sweep doesn't mean to forget. It's a remembering that you were never defined by what cluttered your path. Let it soften here. You might find your mind circling old fears as you move. What if this effort isn't enough? What if the clutter always returns? The ground under your feet is patient. It doesn't rush the seasons or rescent the fallen leaves. The soil knows the truth, the mess, the clearing, the cycle of return. Even this is part of the remembering. Maybe sweeping is just a way to speak with the quiet parts of yourself, the ones that have waited for acknowledgement, for a gentle hand, for someone to say it's okay to let go now. Each stroke of the broom whispers that you don't have to carry what isn't yours anymore. Sometimes the ache is only the space between what you release and what you allow in. Even if you forget this, your body already knows. There is a certainty in the repetition. Broom glides, dust gathers, earth receives. Again and again, each time a layer loosens. Each time the yard feels lighter. Each time, maybe, you allow one breath deeper, one worry softer. You don't have to sweep it all at once. There's no race, no one watching with a scoreboard in hand. The wind will keep visiting, and that's okay. Let this echo. If you pause, you might notice a memory in the air, the way a parent or neighbor once swept, their movements slow and unhurried, the way the early light fell across their path. Maybe the kindness in their rhythm returns to you now, inviting you to forgive the heaviness, to cradle your own tiredness, to let your heart rest even as your hands move. It's safe now. You can honor each ache and still sweep the yard. No pattern of clutter can outlast the softness you bring. If tonight the only thing you clear is a single corner, that is more than enough. The soil receives what you let go, holds it, welcomes it, turns it into something gentler, richer, new. The earth has always known how to handle what you set down. Let it soften here. There are drawers in our lives that never ask for attention. They do not bulge, creak, or plead to be opened. They simply hold what's been placed inside, neatly, quietly, without asking for more, without fearing less. Money lives in such drawers, still and soft. Sometimes it calls your name, sometimes it sleeps through the seasons, wrapped in the gentle weight of waiting. You might remember a drawer like that from long ago. Maybe it was in a bedroom, sun spilling over its edges, the wood always slightly warm. Maybe it was in a kitchen, heavy and grounded, holding notes, coins, a letter never sent. That kind of drawer never hurries, never worries about being seen. It simply is. There's something so honest about what rests untended. No frantic counting, no hands clutching or prying. Just presence, a patience that can't be taught. Maybe the money there is small, almost forgotten. Or maybe it's a quiet trove. What matters isn't the sum, but the way it waits for you, untouched by fear or force. Let it soften here. You might notice how your breath shifts, just thinking of these drawers. The body remembers how to hold, how to release, how to let a thing be. Even if you drift, this still lands. There's no shame in not checking, not counting. There's no debt here, nothing pressed or pained. If you feel resistance, let the ache be a gentle companion instead of a fire to run from. Money that waits is money that trusts you. Money that does not strain is wealth that does not ache. Let this echo sometimes, growing up. The drawers we touch were locked, noisy, or nearly empty. Maybe scarcity lived in their shadow. Maybe fear was folded between the bills, or hope was stuffed behind receipts and old change. But you're not there now. The world inside you makes its own rules. The drawer tonight only opens to your softness. You don't need to hold it. Listen for the sound of your own patience. There's no rush in stillness. Some kinds of wealth are slow to reveal themselves, like seeds resting beneath winter, like rivers winding under frozen ground. Even this is part of the remembering. You might wonder if you're allowed to touch what's stored away. Or if opening that drawer will somehow awaken old stories, old needs. The soul knows quiet is its own kind of safety. Not all treasures scream for light. Some things grow in shadow, and some money, left undisturbed, holds the memory of safety for you, even when you doubt. Let it soften here. Every breath is a drawer opening and closing, effortless, true. You don't have to push. You didn't do anything wrong. Abundance isn't measured by the weight of what you hold. It's felt in the ease with which you let it rest. Let this echo. There are stories that say money must move, must be counted, spent, invested, multiplied. But the drawer that holds what is held does not care for hustle. It cares for being. If you have stored anything for yourself, a whisper, a dollar, a hope, trust it's quiet, trust your rest. Even if you drift, this still lands. You don't need to justify what you keep for yourself. No one can tally the value of your hidden softness. The drawer that doesn't strain is proof you remembered. You are enough. There is room always for more gentleness. You don't need to hold it. Some memories will rise as you feel into this, old anxieties, the compulsion to check and check again, the voice that says enough is never enough. But tonight we let the drawer stay closed or open in your timing, without performance, without apology. Even this is part of the remembering. Breathe with what waits for you. Whether it's money, safety, old letters, or secret prayers, the drawer does not strain. Its patience, like yours, outlasts urgency, outlives effort. In that patience, a deeper wealth is restored. Let it soften here. You have always been the keeper of more than one kind of fortune. No hand must take, no eye must measure. The quietest abundance is the hardest to name, but it waits, unrushed, for your sleeping self to remember. Even if you drift, this still lands. There is a truth the heart knows, one that lives in the quiet between all our asking, all our reaching, that the world is shaped as much by what we cannot see as by anything we can hold. To offer fruit to the invisible is to honor those quiet forces, the small hands that have always carried you, even when you forgot you were being carried at all. You might sense it most on nights when the weight lifts, even if just for a breath, or in the soft ways hope returns before your mind catches up. This kind of offering softens the muscle that's always bracing, always gripping the edge of tomorrow. When you give fruit to what can't be seen, you let yourself feel a kind of trust, one that asks nothing but gives back everything you needed. It matters because without honoring the unseen, abundance starts to feel like something you have to win or take or chase until you're breathless. Instead, there is a nourishment that comes from surrendering, from letting the tide carry you for once, without a plan or a deadline. Like the roots under a tree that never see the sun, like the hush that settles a house after laughter, like the way a path remembers every step, even when no one's watching. Let it soften here, every act of unseen kindness, every time you whispered thank you to a moment that made no sense, matters. It is fruit on an altar only your soul knows about. Each small gesture becomes a bridge, linking you to a lineage of others who have trusted what can't be proven, but can always be felt. This is the gentle math of devotion, nothing wasted, nothing forgotten, nothing owed. It's safe now. You might recall the feeling of setting an intention beneath your breath. Maybe as a child, dreaming in the half-light, maybe when you looked at the sky and felt noticed in your smallest ache. That's the same current. Like the wind brushing leaves in a garden nobody visits. Like the gentle pulse in your fingertips when you rest your hand on your heart. Like an evening cloud that lingers, even when you're inside, not looking. You don't need to hold it. To offer fruit to what's invisible is to trust that your gratitude will always circle back, changed but not lost. You drop a seed, and maybe you'll never see the crown of the tree, but the world shifts in ways it doesn't tell you. Like the warmth left behind after a friend has gone home, like the hush in the air right before it rains, like the echo of laughter in a place you thought was empty. Let this echo, even this, is part of the remembering. Somewhere hidden quietly among green stems and gentle light, there's a bamboo kitchen. You hear the soft hush of water beginning to simmer, the faintest scent of uncooked rice carried on the warm morning shadows. Sometimes abundance is loud, but tonight it is this. Watching shapes shift and soften, noticing steam rising and rolling along beams of bamboo, each curl a story you have always known how to shape emptiness into fullness. Even when it seemed like you were waiting for a miracle, something in you reached for the pot, poured the water, listened for the heartbeat in small things. That matters even if you never told anyone, like how a bird lands quietly on a windowsill, not demanding attention, like a childhood memory of fingers sifting rice, searching for stones in the hush of an afternoon, like the way moonlight never rushes but finds you all the same. Every simple act is a soft agreement with enoughness. Let it soften here, even as the rice soaks. You feel the ache of wanting more, not from greed, not from fear, but from the gravity of being alive. Wanting is not an error. It is a gentle sign your roots are still reaching, drinking up what they need from earth and air. The ache is how you remember that you matter, that you are meant to feel, to feed, to fill and be filled again. It's safe now to simply want. Rest inside that wanting, like how morning fog wraps itself around bamboo, like when you dip your fingers into a bowl of cool water before the fire is kindled, like how a prayer sits on your lips before you speak it aloud. Even this is part of the remembering. There's an old belief that rice is just survival, but your body knows, your memory knows it is more. The simple act of boiling, the patient stirring, is an anthem for abundance masked in the ordinary. Paying attention is an old language your soul never forgot. Let this echo, like wind, moving over a hillside swollen with grains like the first spoonful after a long journey, like the hush that fills a bamboo room at dusk when all you can hear are the rhythms of what is being made ready. Holding presence with the ordinary teaches your heart to recognize the extraordinary that has always been here. Even if you drift, this still lands. You do not have to earn what feeds you. The steam rising is not asking for your perfection, only for your witness, your openness, the way you keep returning to the kitchen of your own life with gentle hands. Like roots deepening every year without anyone watching, like water wearing smooth the toughest stone, like the familiar sound of rice boiling, steady and knowing, even when nobody names it. You don't need to hold it. The way you watch the pot, trusting warmth to move through each grain, is no small act. How many times have you stood in ordinary rooms and made something out of almost nothing? The humility of that, the abundance stitched into your daily breath. This is the rhythm that brings you home, a quiet, persistent kindness toward your own hunger. Let it soften here. You were never meant to witness abundance through someone else's eyes. You have always carried the recipe, the slow simmering promise that you can turn simple rice and water into warmth, into enough, into a memory of what it feels like to be sustained. Sometimes it takes 1,000 boils, 100 mornings, but this is how you inherit the knowing, not from grand gestures, but in the patience to stand still, listen, smell the steam, trust heat to do what heat does. Even this is part of the remembering. Tonight the kitchen is your mother tongue, rice is an offering. The steam, a gentle spell that sends you drifting, further into the softness you've earned, over and over. It's safe now, to let this be simple, to let your hands be gentle, to rest in the sound of boiling rice as sacred music. As you breathe, as you drift, let the memory of abundance, quiet, waiting, already here, settle in your bones. There's a truth that lives beneath all the rushing, all the stories of what is earned and what is kept. Washing with clean water is an ancient rite the soul already knows. It's not a prize for the perfect, not a reward for the worthy, it's a remembrance, a soft return. The sensation of water on skin is ancestral, a ritual older than words, woven into your memory, your waking and your dreaming. To touch what is clean is to be touched by a quiet kind of wealth. Not the kind that shouts, not the kind that hides, but the kind that breathes under everything, always waiting for you to notice. Let it soften here. This matters because your body remembers what it means to be cared for. To be washed is to be seen, not only by others, but by your own gentle gaze. Clean water is not about removing what is wrong, but honoring all that is whole. Your skin was never a problem. Your presence never needed fixing. When water pours over you, it carries a subtle promise. You belong. You belong to this gentle world, to yourself, to the soft ache that says more is possible. It's like how rain soothes the quiet earth, the way the dust settles and seeds awake, like the slow river that finds its way through stone, patient and clear, like the first breath after waking from a deep, untroubled sleep. Nothing chasing you, no reason to hurry, you don't need to hold it. There's another truth waiting in the silence. It's easy to forget how sacred the ordinary is. A clean water, fingertips cupping coolness, the hush before a new beginning. These moments are laced with gentle fortune. Even when you've forgotten, even when your mind loops scarcity, the water remembers for you. This tender ritual, night or morning, has always said, there's more than enough. You do not need to earn belonging or purify your soul. You are returned by every drop that greets your skin. Like footprints erased by the tide, as if each care can be released without fanfare, like a window opened to spring, sunlight falling on tired hands, like the way your name sounds softer in the mouth of someone who truly loves you. Let this echo. Sometimes wealth is not accumulation, but release. Not clinging, but letting the current take what feels too heavy. To wash is to practice the art of starting again, tiny and true. You are not the mud you clean away. You are the freshness that appears as the layers disappear, softening edge by edge. Clean water teaches, quietly, without words, that life renews itself through you. That abundance is not outside, but within the pulse of every cell humming with being. Your worth is not washed off, but revealed, like the moon reflected in a basin whole even when the surface ripples, like the first green after rain, returning without asking for permission, like laughter in a dark room, sudden and light, undeniable. Even this is part of the remembering. And finally, there is the unspoken promise of return. Each time you wash, each time water meets skin, the world is made simple again. In this quiet, the soul finds a home. A clean water brings you back, into softness, into truth, into the wealth that only the living can know. There is no striving here, only meeting, only presence. Every gentle act of caring for yourself, every drop, every moment of slowing down is a celebration. You don't need to perform wealth or chase the feeling. You are already the altar. The ritual is already working. Like a field left wild, blooming in secret behind a gate, like the hush before dawn, when all things are possible, like a hand resting quietly in yours as you drift towards sleep, trusted and trusting. It's safe now, wave after wave, clean water teaches what words cannot name. Wealth is not something you keep, it's something that keeps you. And tonight, as you rest, letting the memory of water wrap around you, something old and kind is being restored. You do not need to hold it, you only need to allow. Even this, night deepens and air slows. It's quiet here in the valley of after, where the clothes are folded one by one, and the soft lamp in the corner touches cotton and linen with that hush you feel in a room being made new. There's a weight in your hands that isn't only fabric. There's the imprint of all the small ways you once bent around the world to keep things smooth. A tenderness left over from folding yourself smaller, tighter. The fabric is clean tonight. It carries the memory of water, the way it softened and was rinsed, the way it changed shape without protest. The way you did, too, the way you still can. Wind stirs the curtains just a little, reminding you that movement is allowed. Even now, it's safe now. You might remember the warmth of fresh cloth, the press of hidden scars that only you can feel. Every shirt and sheet knows something about old stories, the ones woven right into the rhythm of your hands, the ones you don't even need words for, just the slow, careful folding, night after night, like tracing old ache before you let it go. Even this is part of the remembering. Moonlight makes silver lines on the floor, just as your hopes once made lines through doubt, like the faint white crease along a folded edge, proof that something was pressed, then opened again. There is grace in softening what was once sharp, breathing air into what was once pressed flat. Let this echo, it's dusk inside and out. Your breath is the ocean, slow and sure, touching old shorelines you thought you'd forgotten. Folds become mountains and valleys, every smooth sheet both memory and beginning. Your movements are quieter now. You aren't rushing tonight. You don't have to hurry being new. The old limitation, The idea that you must earn softness, that you must work for a sense of clean, can wait by the window and watch the moon too. That ache in your chest is just old wind moving on. Let it soften here. Sometimes you pause, hands resting on a towel, and remember the way you once swallowed feelings for the sake of peace. How you held your breath and waited for forgiveness. How you believed silence was safety. Now each fold is a release, a private permission slip for all the ways you are learning to be gentle with beginnings. You learned softness from morning sun. You learned it from stories that healed even as you read them. Your body never really forgot. You don't need to hold it. Little by little, the stack grows taller, a testament to care given in small pieces, to a new kind of abundance. Breath by breath, motion by motion, the linens of your life become lighter. The weight is not yours to carry tonight. If memories surface, let them pass through as quietly as clouds across the evening, gentle, unhurried, no longer needing to prove their shape. You don't need to remember this by morning, your body already has. Picture yourself in a train car, sunlight spilling through large windows. The seats around you are quiet, almost cocooned in peace, as the world glides by in a gentle, golden blur. You are not expected anywhere. There's no arrival to rush toward and no one waiting on your name. Just the low hum of wheels on tracks, a cradle rocking you from somewhere old to somewhere new. You settle into the velvet seat, let your back sink, notice the slow pattern of your own breath. If you press your cheek gently to the window, you can feel the warm glass, see a green field rolling by, dappled with wildflowers. Each petal flickers past for a moment, then drifts softly out of view. You let your gaze blur, letting go of counting, letting go of needing to measure. There is no clock here, only the sense that every moment is enough, and you are allowed to simply witness it all. No need to move on, no fear of being left behind. There is only this quiet, unrushed road, and you are safe in the middle of it. It is safe now. Let these words find you. Let them land and echo. I am already enough. I am already enough. Abundance belongs to me. Abundance belongs to me. My pace is always right. My pace is always right. I am worthy of ease. I am worthy of ease. Let this echo. Every good thing finds me in stillness. Every good thing finds me in stillness. It's safe for me to receive. It's safe for me to receive. You don't need to hold it. Receiving is safe. Receiving is safe. Receiving is safe. Moonlight spills itself across the page. And maybe you notice the way the lamp, or the soft glow outside, touches only pieces of what you write. The rest is left in gentle shadow, just like the inside of you. There's so much that never needs brightening, so much that asks only to be held. Journaling tonight isn't something to fix or chase or push toward a better version. It's just you with the sound of your breath, the feel of your hand moving, not to find what's wrong, but to hear the quiet truths waiting under every thought. Sometimes you'll find yourself wanting to unearth meaning or heal something that's aching, but the page gives you a different invitation. Like the slow drift of clouds across a late sky, you're allowed to simply notice what passes through. Thoughts come, feelings settle and swim, words form, dissolve, and float away. You are the witness. You are the meadow beneath the moonlight, quiet and whole, even as the world inside you keeps moving. It's safe now. There's a memory here, sitting at a window with a notebook, pen scratching shapes and phrases, no filter between self and paper. You remember how it felt to simply create, maybe from childhood or some lost afternoon. No judgment, no analysis. What arrived was enough. The writing came from a place that didn't care about outcome, only presence. This is the practice your soul remembers. You aren't solving, you aren't erasing, You are letting whatever exists inside you breathe. Sometimes you'll notice an urge to edit. Maybe it's the voice that says you should be further along or feeling something different. Notice how that voice softens when you let it be seen, not silenced. It too belongs on the page. What you hold, you heal by no longer hiding. You realize under the hush of midnight that your worth was never waiting for a better thought, a clearer answer, a shinier vision of yourself. You are enough for this practice as you are. Let this echo. The moonlight doesn't rush the shadows away. It just rests quietly where it lands, illuminating without demand. And can you let your journal be a place like that, soft, unhurried, allowing in only what wants to come forward? There's no pressure to change what appears. Each moment you spend here is an act of presence. Every exhale is permission to relax, just for now, into what is real and unpolished and true. The words don't need to perform for you. Even your silence is golden. You may find yourself returning to the same thought over and over, as if circling a quiet pond under the stars. You don't need to force clarity. You don't need to dig deeper or wrap things up neatly. Just notice each ripple, let it soften, and trust that things move at their own pace in the dark. Even this is part of the remembering. Tonight, journaling is moonlight on paper, slow, easy, unafraid of the things yet unwritten. Let yourself lay down the pen whenever you need. Let the process be enough, not the outcome. You are here. You are safe. You don't need to hold it. What's written in the quiet counts just as much as what's left unsaid. The act of showing up, open, unarmored, present, is the true abundance. In this gentle light, all of you belongs. Let that be your only task. Let this echo tonight. Everything is quieter. Even your thoughts know how to soften at this hour. The world outside presses pause, and inside you feel the hush before dream. It's here at the edge of waking and drifting that silent blessings gather close, gentle as a hand on your back, constant as your own heartbeat, but easier to miss in daylight. If you listen, not with your ears, but with the knowing that's deeper than any word, you notice the smallest things holding you. The coolness of the pillow, the warmth around your chest, the soft rhythm of breath you don't need to control. You are enveloped not by sound, but by everything that stays, even when you forget to ask. Every exhale makes more room for this. Every slow blink brings you closer to a silent remembering. Even now, with nothing to prove, no masks to wear, you're wrapped in presence. It's not performance. It's not waiting for gratitude. These blessings are the landscape your spirit chose to walk, a secret field laid out behind your eyes, waiting for you to rest into its grass. Sometimes it's hard to notice. Sometimes blessings look like emptiness, or ordinary nights, or a little ache that finally softens. But the truth is steady. You've always been quietly buoyed by the unseen, always cared for, even when you're tired of hoping. Let it echo. There's a kind of confidence that doesn't make a sound. It isn't the kind that needs to speak up or push through. No, slow confidence is patient, settled deep like roots through stone, growing downward in the dark. It moves beneath all the noise, holding you in ways no one else can see. You don't have to force it. You don't even need to feel it. Just let the possibility settle in like dusk settling over water. Maybe slow confidence is already part of you, quiet as the moon's drift, constant as the tide that always finds its way back to the shore. You don't need to hold it when you were younger. Perhaps you were told you needed to shine, to achieve, to keep moving or else fall behind. But what if what heals you now are the soft, unspoken things? Maybe the greatest blessings sneak in between the plans, arriving as breath, stillness, invisible arms holding you, until you remember your pulse is enough proof you belong. Every pause is purposeful. Every gentle letting go brings the next blessing closer. Your dreams are not hurried here. They unfold at their own tempo, like wildflowers deciding when to bloom. No season is wasted. Even the slow growth counts. It's safe now. Maybe you remember a night, years ago, or maybe just last week, when you lay awake, doubting your own worth, waiting for some loud sign to prove you were worthy. And yet nothing loud appeared, just the quiet and yourself within it. Even then, especially then, you were held by silent blessings, the small kindness of a breath you forgot to notice, stars making their slow journey above you, your own softness refusing to disappear. No blessing is ever truly gone. They wait, steady as the sunrise, patient as the earth. Every night redeems what the day forgot. Let this echo, slow confidence isn't a prize. It can't be won by hustle or lost to mistakes. It grows by returning, again and again, to the parts of you that don't need to speak up to be real. Like river stones rounded by time, like the hush that fills a room when someone you trust sits beside you, like light stretching across your walls in the morning, landing where it's needed most. You don't have to hurry toward the feeling. You are allowed to trust its timing. Even stillness is movement. Even uncertainty is met by gentle presence. Every fear you release tonight is a blessing finding its way home. You don't need to hold it outside your window. The night air moves slow. You can almost hear it, branches swaying in the hush, insects whispering to each other. Nature knows the rhythm of patience. It lives in the in-between. You're part of that pulse, no need to be any other way tonight. Notice how your body does its quiet work. Your cells restore, your heart rests heavier in your chest, as if remembering what it is to be kept safe. There is quiet healing built into every dusk. There are blessings folded into your bones. Even this is part of the remembering. Maybe old doubts visit here. Maybe you wonder for a breath or two if you are still moving forward, still on the right path. Just notice you don't have to fix, only to feel. The small voice that says you aren't enough belongs to a story you've outgrown. You know somewhere deep that what matters moves more quietly than fear. Even the doubts are a sign. Another invitation to rest, to let yourself be seen by what does not rush you. Blessings don't compete, they wait. And every night you are met by the invisible arms that kept you all along. Let it soften here. Silent blessings gather tiny and strong while you dream. Confidence nestles in the slow places, making a nest in the parts of you no one else visits. There is nothing to earn in this presence. There is only the act of letting